Hello, dear learners. This is Sushma Singh, and you are watching Booster Classes. In today's session, you all will get a quick reference summary of the chapter titled From the Diary of Anne Frank from First Flight Book of Standard 10 CBSE. If you really want to get the in-depth explanation of this chapter, I'm pretty sure you all will watch this video till the end. And yes, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, just hit the subscribe button right now. Well, first and foremost, let me give you its overview. This lesson is an extract from Anne Frank's diary named Diary of a Young Girl. It is a true personal account of a very sensitive, mature, young Jewish girl named Anne Frank. And it was first published in 1947, 2 years after Anne's death, in a concentration camp. And written with insight, humor, and intelligence, her diary became a classic of war literature. In this, Anne Frank tells us about her early days of her life. The diary takes us to June 12, 1942, and she remembers about the different incidents in her life. First, she remembers the days when she started writing this diary. On June 12, 1942, Anne Frank received a diary on her 13th birthday. And this diary turned out to be Anne's one and only true friend, and she even named it. She called it Kitty. Anne decided to confine everything in her diary and treated it as her friend, so she did not want to jot down in her diary just facts and events the way most people do. But it was written in the form of a letter and contained her innermost feelings, beliefs, moods, and observation on people who lived around her. It was a mature and deep, insightful book. Now let's see what prompted Anne to keep a diary. Driven by isolation and her intense longing for a true friend in whom she could confide in the feelings of her heart, Anne compelled herself to make the solemn dedication of composing a diary. And writing a diary was definitely a strange experience for her, not only because she had never written anything before, but also because she believed that no one would be interested in reading a young girl's past experiences. Her feelings would be of no value for anyone, and herself was doubtful of liking it even. So she preferred her diary over her relatives and friends because, according to her, paper is more patient than people. Unlike people, paper is not at all judgmental and critical of anyone's feelings or thoughts. Paper neither argues nor betrays. It would patiently let her fill its pages with her likes, ideas, and observation. The paper would not ignore her the way people would, and this is the reason why she preferred her diary over relatives and friends. What does Anne Frank say about her family in her diary? Let's find out now. Anne wrote a brief sketch of her family, even though she disliked doing so, because she knew that no one would understand it if she plunged right in jotting down the things in her diary. Moreover, she did not want to follow the common trend of writing facts in a diary in a formal way. Therefore, she wrote about her family. Her parents were Otto and Edith Frank. They migrated to Holland in 1933 to escape Nazi's persecutions and felt that her father was the most adorable man, and her elder sister Margaret were raised by their grandma before they joined their parents in Holland. Now, Anne loved her grandmother so much that she often thought of her, even she missed her after her death. Her grandmother fell ill and underwent an operation in 1942, and in 1942 she passed away. In the sixth form at the Montessori Nursery School, and teacher was Mrs. Copperas, who was also the headmistress over there. At the end of the year, they were both in tears as they said a heartbreaking farewell to each other. Anne Frank also shared her experiences at school with the diary. Now, talking about the ambience of a classroom, she said that the students in her class were terribly frightened of the upcoming meeting of the teachers, wherein it would be decided which of the students could go to the next grade and who would be kept back in the same grade. Half of the students of a class were betting against one another. They were all waiting anxiously for the results and consoling one another. Anne Frank, for herself, was a bit doubtful only about one subject, that was mathematics. And she felt that one-fourth of the students in her class were dummies and this shouldn't be promoted. However, she also knew that most of them would pass and move to the next grade. After all, according to her, teachers were the most unpredictable creatures on earth. In her school, there were seven male teachers and two female teachers, and got along well with most of her teachers except her maths teacher, Mr. Kissing, who was annoyed with her since ages because she was a chirpy girl, always busy in talking to her classmates. And despite repeated warning from him, Anne could not control her talkative attitude in the classroom. Now, this enraged him up and he punished her, assigning extra homework to write essays on the topics like a chatterbox, an incorrigible chatterbox, and so on. By choosing titles related to talking for Anne to write on, the teacher actually wanted that this would embarrass Anne and she would definitely check her indiscipline. Indeed, the teacher wanted to teach her a good lesson. Anne Frank took the punishment in right spirit and did not want to write like others who merely leave big spaces between words to make the essay look lengthy. Rather, she decided to present concrete arguments in support of talking. She came up with convincing arguments to prove that talking is a natural trait of a student and she would try to better herself but could not eliminate talking completely because she inherited this trait from her mother. And nothing could be done much about inherited qualities. Mr. Kissing realized the humor in it and was amused at the argument but could not cure Anne Frank. She resumed talking, and her teacher gave another essay to write on the topic an incorrigible chatterbox, hoping that this would definitely embarrass Anne and she would check her indiscipline, but nothing could bring any change in Anne's behavior. Finally, when her maths teacher ran out of his patience, he provided her a very irrelevant topic to write on. Now, this time she was to write an essay titled Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. Now, when she was punished for the third time, Anne was worried because she had literally run out of original ideas after writing two times on a similar topic. However, she wrote a beautiful verse with the help of a friend. It was about an angered father duck beating the ducklings to death because of their quacking. Now, being impressed, her maths teacher took the poem in right spirit and lightly also. He could not help but laugh at her essays and acknowledged her smart mind. He even spared Anne forever, and she found the freedom to talking unending. Diary of a Young Girl is an amazing book itself, given that it is a vivid personal account which has rich life lessons to convey. The central message of this personal account is that significance of good friends. Undoubtedly, friends play a pivotal role in shaping our character. Now, it also throws light on necessity of getting things off one's chest because silently harboring concern, stress, sadness, etc. can be toxic. Now, friendliness is a prerequisite of effective teaching and learning. Teaching is truly an art, and for teachers to be efficient, being amiable is a prerequisite. As because a friendly teacher would make the learning more joyful and can inspire students to learn better and think out of box. Finally, it also conveys the benefits of writing a diary. Writing diary definitely helps one to be honest. Diary makes up for the absence of a friend, and it also has more tolerance and patience than people in general. Hope you all understood this chapter. So, here are a few important questions for comprehension check. So, solve them and deepen your understanding. Keep watching to keep learning. Thank you.